Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom magazine, Entrepreneur Spotlight Series, and what a show today. I've got the person that I'm calling the king of Google marketing on the show today, Mr. Chris Fawcett. He is the CEO of Third Marble Marketing. Now, Chris has a very unique background. He's been in the business for over 24 years. He provides affordable and effective Google Ads management. He does SEO for small to mid-sized businesses. He knows everything that there needs to be known about Google Ads. That's why I call him the king of Google advertising. I've been trying to get him on the show for a long time. Mr. Chris Fawcett, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
So this is super cool to have you. I've got so many questions I want to ask you about Google Ads and what you do at Third Marble. But let's start off by pulling the lens back just a little bit and tell us at a high level what Third Marble is all about.
At a high level, Third Marble is all about helping small businesses get on page one of Google. Used to look up businesses in the phone book 25, 30 years ago and that's where you went. And now everyone goes to Google to find a small business. So that's what we do, is we basically help them get on page one of Google so that people can find them when they're looking for the business's products or services.
See, Chris, this makes all the sense in the world. And right now, everybody's thinking about going super hyper local, whether you're a local refrigerator repairman or a local barber shop or a salon or a restaurant. These small to mid-sized businesses need to understand how they get seen by the general public. And that's what Third Marble has an expertise in, which is helping these companies be seen in front of the people that they want to be seen by. So if I'm a small company and I reach out to Third Marble, what are some of the questions that you're going to ask that company to help you understand how to get them on that front page for SEO purposes and to be in the right place at the right time in front of the right people?
Well, the first step, of course, is to take a look at the website that they have. A lot of times the marketing message is there, and that's obviously what the customer is going to see after they click on a Google ad. They're going to go to that client's website. They're going to read about it. And so, making sure that that the message is there, that it's right. A lot of small businesses don't have that marketing professional on staff, or they haven't hired that marketing pro yet to help them develop that message. So sometimes it's all about what's your message, and then we like to ask about what do you want people to do once they do find you. So, do you want them to call? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to come visit your store, make an appointment, schedule an appointment, whatever the case may be. So it's also important that we understand the final action that the website will drive the customer to. The reason for that is, we've got to understand which keywords we're going to target. We got to understand what the ad or in SEO, what the organic listing is going to say. They're going to click on that. They're going to visit the website. They need to it has to be a continuous kind of from keyword to ad to website. And then the ad might even tell them to do something in advance. So if it's call 24/7 or something like that, then we want the website to also say call 24/7. So there's a continuous path for a client to get from one end to the other, ultimately leading to leads and sales.
See, Chris, that makes all the sense in the world. So what you're saying is that you need a good handshake between the ad and what's projected on Google to the actual website. So when the people get there, they know that there's this machination of this message that's working collectively and collaboratively, sort of in unison. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So when a small company reaches out to you, Chris, and they say, we don't know what to do. We've put together a website that we're not even 100% sure about the brand messaging or what people are supposed to do on the website or the type of action step that they're supposed to take on the website. Are these all things that Third Marble Marketing helps these smaller companies fulfill and finish and get done so that they can then start getting those leads and those customers?
To some degree, yes. We're not, we're not the branding agency. We don't develop logos or anything like that. We're really AdWords management. So we're trying to get the right keywords and the right clicks to the website. We have had, a lot of startups who've, really had not had anything, and we'll tell them, hey, you really need to go hire a marketing professional to get your message right. The way we like to describe it is what Third Marble is, we don't develop the message, we deliver the message. And so we're, if the message just could use a few tweaks, we've been doing this long enough that we certainly know what works and what doesn't. So, but the important thing a lot of times is, does your website just simply answer the basic questions? What do you do? Where do you do it? How do I contact you? What are your qualifications, if you will, or do you create value? The simple questions are often enough. Answers to the simple questions are often enough just to get a lead. So. But no, we primarily focus most of our energies in managing those keywords. So
I love that. So let's talk about the keywords, because obviously for a small company to take a big step into managing that themselves, you hear so many horror stories, so many disaster stories from people that just lose money hands over fist because they don't really understand the complexity of the entire Google infrastructure, the entire Google AdWords program. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I would imagine not only do you get people calling you up over at Third Marble, Chris, saying, hey, I've never done this before, but I want to do it. But you probably get a lot of people calling you saying, I've tried it by myself and it just didn't work. What can you do to help me out? So let's talk about that a little bit. What can you do to help these customers out?
Well, and a lot of small business owners do try to do it themselves. Of course, you can try to do your own taxes. You can try to cut your own hair. May not be very successful at it, right? But and a lot of people do try it. There's a lot of pitfalls in the Google system that people are unaware of. So if they do call us up and say, hey, I've tried this, I need some help, we're going to help you out, right? What we've done is that's actually probably one of like an ideal client for us, is somebody that's at least tried it. They have enough knowledge about it to say, hey, I've been in there, I've done this. We come in and our goal is to be able to provide the most affordable solution possible for that person so that they can afford for us to manage it for them. Our competitors, a lot of these larger, I'll say, full service agencies, things like that, they may charge $2,000, $2,500 in setup fees. They may have minimums of, I don't know, say $500 or $750 a month, even if you only want to run a couple $100 in Google Ads. Whereas our setup fees are more like $150, and our management fees start around $200 a month for a simple search ad campaign. So that's where we're trying to become, a very affordable solution to help that small, salt of the earth business guy who's, he's out there living the American dream. He's trying to put food on his table. He's trying to help his neighbors out by offering them jobs. We're trying to be the solution for that guy. And that's really, so, we've been trying to be as efficient and as affordable as we possibly can.
I love that. So for the smaller company, the guy that's starting his own business, for local companies, for you to be able to provide this level of expertise at Third Marble Marketing for the types of price point that you're talking about is very unique and very interesting. And like you mentioned, you like helping companies, you like helping entrepreneurs. They are the backbone of America. They're the people that make it work, make it go, and you're helping them to get to where they want to go so they can put food on their table and perhaps live the American dream with their own small business. And I love hearing that, Chris. That's very refreshing and that's very powerful. So when we talk about Google AdWords, when we talk about a small company that's coming to you and they engage with you and they want your service, how important is testing the message in Google AdWords? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, so it's all, again, I kind of go back to the keywords, right? So if depending upon the keyword that's searched for, you might have a cluster of keywords. And anyone that's running Google Ads really should be testing different messages in the ads. And so you can have like a cluster of keywords that triggers several different ads, and they'll run in rotation. And the beautiful thing about Google Ads is it's almost an unlimited amount of data that you can collect on every little nook and cranny and everything that goes on online. So you know exactly what has happened. So this keyword gets searched for X number of times. It got clicked on so many times. This ad gets so many clicks, so many impressions. You can measure the responsiveness of the ads by just looking at the click-through rate, and ads that have poor click-through rates, we get rid of those, and ads that have great click-through rates, we keep them and try to, beat the control, if you will, kind of the old A/B testing in marketing, the A/B test messages all the time. Well, this is a very easy way to A/B test messages very quickly. And adjustments you make, of course, affect your bottom line on the results. So
see, that makes
every single ad group that we do, every single campaign we run has at least 3 ads running simultaneously.
Wow, that's great. So you do all of this kind of behind the scenes as part of your service for the company. I know you've got some incredible case studies of some people who you've helped, and some companies that you started with that were very, very small that have been able to build up with your help, of course, and have become major companies. So that's really, really exciting, the type of work that you do at Third Marble. When we think about search, everybody just thinks about Google. Is there any wisdom in trying to get yourself placed on any of the other search engines, or is it just really all about Google right now?
If you have a very small budget, it's, if you're going to try to manage multiple platforms, keep in mind that you adding extra layers of cost for each platform that you add. So if you only have, say, a $1,000 a month budget, and you want to put $900 or $800 in ads and $200 into management or something like that, and you'd say, hey, let's take $200 and go try Bing. Well, you're just going to add more management fee to that. And then let's take $200, put it over in Facebook. You're just going to add more management fees to that across the top board. So it's inefficient. Now, the flip side to that, of course, is you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and you're a much larger company. Yeah, you want to be across multiple platforms to deliver that message across multiple platforms. But, Google's at the top of the list. I think Facebook, in terms of pay-per-click ads, would be right behind it. And then, the Bing, Yahoo, and all the other search engines, which I don't even know which ones exist anymore, quite frankly, and I'm in the business. But, they can add a 5% or 10% more search volume. But the fact that, Google is basically the search engine on the mobile devices, and for let's say a business to consumer business, probably 75 to 85% of the searches are going to be done on a mobile device today. And so,
isn't that interesting how that's all come that way? So Chris, I'm sorry, Chris, that's really great advice. And what you're saying is, for a small company, you want to put all your eggs in one basket to start with, just because of the economics. With Google being the big player, which is serving up most of the search results on both old-fashioned desktops, but more importantly on mobile. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So Chris, when you bring on a new customer, or a new customer reaches out and they say, hey, Chris, we heard about you. We've read about your exploits in this, AdWords business. We know you know a lot about this. Andy Jacob at DotCom magazine calls you the king of Google ads. So how do you onboard somebody? What's the process for a new customer to come to Third Marble and get going with you guys?
Well, if the first thing, you can call us up or schedule an appointment with us on the website. You're going to talk to one of our salespeople, and I'll even answer the phone, quite frankly. But we're going to answer whatever questions you have, and we're not going to answer them with nothing but alphabet acronyms. A lot of, we're trying to talk to your, again, the guy that's more interested in, hanging drywall or operating a movie theater or running his restaurant, right? He doesn't know all these acronyms in this business. So first off, we're not going to talk to you with acronyms and, things like that. It's important that you get all your questions answered up front. And then there's a sign-up form you would fill out that goes into our system, initiates. You'll get assigned to an onboarding person, and they're going to walk you through the onboarding process. They're going to help you get the conversion tracking set up, which enables us to see how many phone calls or forms get filled out, or even sales if you're an e-commerce company. Make sure that we're tracking everything that we do down to so we can get some sort of feel for what your return on investment is. And that's important in the first several weeks, a week or two. And then from that, you'll be assigned an account manager, and then that person they'll be with you the whole process. But the account manager is the person that's going to help you out with your strategy, explain the reports to you when we start to get the data in. They're going to be making adjustments to the account, or they're kind of like the quarterback. We've got other people that making the adjustments. They're doing the optimizations on a regular basis and all like that. And then other than that, we'll provide you with a monthly report. You take a look at it. And one of the things I think a lot of our customers love is there's actually a link in the report you can click to schedule a results review call with us. Schedule the call. We call you up. We've reviewed everything before the call, so we're not fumbling through trying to get the screens up while you're for the first 10 minutes of the phone call, right? And then that's basically it. We're never any contract. I think I don't understand why other people are even dealing with contracts in the digital space, but no contract. You call us up and say, hey, I'm going to Barbados for a couple of months. Turn off the ads. Hey, no problem. We'll turn the ads off for you.
I love it, Chris. And you and I should be in Barbados right now. That's for sure. So, Chris, let's talk about Google AdWords a little bit more, because of the fact that, when I think of Google AdWords, you also think of the other 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is Facebook. And of course, Instagram now and TikTok and everything else on the social media side. But when somebody, a small business owner says to you, hey, Chris, I want to do some Google. I want to do Google AdWords, but is there a way to incorporate any Facebook into this? For example, once they come to my website, is there a pixel that can be put on? They might not say these words, but they might be indicating that they want to do something like this, where that pixel can sort of follow the customer around, various other media companies, and then serve up my ad to them. Are these things that you get into with the smaller business, or are these things that you don't get into at this point?
Yeah, a lot of companies could. So what following me around with the Facebook pixel is called retargeting in the Facebook world. Google calls it remarketing. So retargeting, remarketing. The main difference, and it all works the same way with a little pixel. Facebook is only going to serve ads on the Facebook app and the Facebook website. Google has the content display network, which reaches like 93% of the population or something like that. So this is ads on just about any other website you can think of. I think there's well over 2 million websites that have Google Content Network or Google Display Network ads on them. So, I think like, CNN.com, the Weather Channel apps, anyone that's publishing content, they're going to have Google ads on there. You can run remarketing ads all over the place. So if you visit a website and you go to say, I don't know, maybe ESPN has ads, I don't know, but you're checking the football score on some sports website and you see an ad of the website you just visited, that's most likely Google remarketing ads. And that's part of the Google Ads platform as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when we look at a company like Third Marble and we look at a smaller company, let's take a small restaurant. It's quite there's a high likelihood that by using Third Marble, you're also going to that restaurant's going to have ads served up elsewhere as well, not just on the Google Ads platform as part of this remarketing that you mentioned that Google does.
Right. So if again, it would be display ads that would appear all over the internet for other websites. It could be the local newspaper's website, or again, a horoscope website, a lot of blog posts, blog websites. If you're on any forums for whatever hobby you have, a lot of times you'll see ads like that. So it's a great way, once somebody visits your website, to bring them back to your website a second time. And as we all know, a 2-time visitor to a website is more valuable than a 1-time visitor.
See, that makes all the sense in the world, Chris. And I'm asking these rhetorical questions because we're going to have some of the smaller type businesses watching the show, and I want them to understand how a complex, evolved situation can be made very simplistic by hiring Third Marble. And I think that's really the key, because when they hire you, all this amazing integrations are going on in the background. The young entrepreneur, or the startup business owner, or the small business owner doesn't have to worry about that. All they need to focus and concentrate on is their business, and that's what they want to do. The problem for a lot of small businesses, Chris, as you know, is that they start tinkering in things that they're not an expert in, and they take their eye off the ball on the business that is supposed to put the food on their table. That's why they reach out to a Third Marble to have you handle the things that they're not experts at handling. So let's talk about entrepreneurship just for a minute, Chris. You've been in the business for a long time. You've been able to build a very successful company. You have a wonderful team behind you. When we think about young entrepreneurs, let's say they haven't even started that small business who ultimately is going to call you and have you manage their AdWords and their Google accounts for them. What advice do you have for the younger entrepreneurs that are thinking about getting into business? Because I know, from all of our perspectives, being an entrepreneur is not easy. And maybe you could share some light on what it took for many years for you to become a successful entrepreneur.
I think, when you really start your own business and you're starting out, I think it's very important that you understand what your value proposition is versus everyone else's. With Third Marble, I wanted to work with the small business owners because, that it seems like when you help the small businesses, as everyone knows, you're helping local economies grow. And so that steered the ship, if you will, and to where we try to become more and more efficient. So understanding what your value proposition, I could have charged thousands of dollars for my service and had 20 or 30 clients instead of the hundreds of campaigns that we manage today. And, and made a lot more money on a smaller number of clients and things like that. But there was a lot of people in that space already, hundreds of them. But what we learned is there wasn't a lot of people out there that were really trying to do this in an extremely affordable way for the everyman. And so my background's industrial engineering, right? So I used to work in big giant factories and things like that right out of college and everything. And so a lot of what I've done is apply these industrial engineering techniques. We have a story that we like to tell. Believe it or not, I'm going back to 100 years ago today almost, right? The old Henry Ford story, which a lot of kids get taught in high school and everything. And that is Henry Ford he did not invent the automobile. What he did, and I didn't invent Google Ads, but what he did do is he invented a way to make the automobile affordable for the everyman, right? So he developed a process for doing it more affordably, and it created a sense of, it enabled people to buy automobiles that couldn't previously afford to do this. And that's the model that we're trying to follow. We're actually, we talk about assembly lines in staff meetings and how we pass things from one person to the next, just like that automobile going down the assembly line. And so, we like to say, we didn't invent Google Ads. We just made it a way to become more affordable for the people like you're talking about that are starting up businesses that don't have a lot of capital and things like that. But when you understand that unique value proposition, your business can follow a path. It creates that path. Hey, do I want to be the most expensive or do I want to be the most affordable? Do I want to have the best customer service, or do I, want to provide the best value? Whatever the case is, understanding that I think is important at the outset, and not deviating from it is important as well.
I love that, Chris. When I was preparing for our interview and I had heard about you, I had been told that you're salt of the earth. You're the kind of guy that will give the straight shot to these small businesses, which is why you've become so successful. You've been able to teach that to your sales team and to your onboarding team and to the rest of your team that, these small businesses, they're really putting a lot of faith in the people that they hire. And they really need the straight shot. They need to understand what's going on in a simplistic way so that they can have faith that what's happening behind the scenes with their Google AdWords makes the most sense for them, because at the end of the day, they're putting food on their table for their family. So they want to make sure that they're just making all the right moves. And during this conversation, during this interview, Chris, it's coming across in a very, very straightforward way. When I was preparing for this interview and I was told about you, many people told me that, these small businesses, they really need to talk to somebody that's straight with them, that's salt of the earth, that really gives them the straight shot, because they're so busy working on their business. They don't have the time to really work on the things like marketing. So that's why they hire a company like Third Marble. So when I'm interviewing you, Chris, something very interesting is coming across in the interview. And I feel one word comes across when I speak with you, and that's the word honesty. And I know that you've been able to build this business by being honest with your customers. I love the way that if your customer wants to bring it down for a month or two without any long-term contract, you say, not a problem. You take great care of your customers. What is it? How did you learn, this sort of approach? What is it about you and your background or experience or life that has taught you to be straightforward, keep it simple, and be able to treat your customers in a way that you kind of become famous for over at Third Marble?
Ironically, I think the answer to that question is probably going to be working with some really good salespeople over the years in prior lives. I did a lot of, I've been in internet and e-commerce marketing for a while as a result of being in some catalog companies back in the days. And, when you're buying millions of dollars of printing and millions of dollars of paper to print these catalogs, I've learned how these really good, you meet really good salespeople and you meet really bad salespeople, right? And so the ones that we worked with, I would say that they probably had a really good influence. And it boils down to one word for me: it's helpful. I don't want to have to find something. I don't want to have to look for it for myself. If I'm hiring you, you're the expert. You need to tell me what I need to do. You need to kind of be up. I need you to be an open book, right? And the guys that really did well for me over the years, they were open books. I mean, you wanted to go see the closet in the back of the print shop, they'll show you the closet in the back of the print shop. A little facetious there, but that really, I think, influenced the way that I like to have business done with me. So this is, I guess it's the old golden rule. It's how I would want to be treated. Ultimately, I'm hiring a company. I want you to be helpful. I want you to help me succeed. If we succeed, I help you succeed, I'm going to succeed also. It's a win-win, right? So ultimately, we're going for a win-win here. So, and the other thing is a lot of people don't do it that way. They're not honest about things. They don't even give you your Google Ads account if you leave them, right? They hold it hostage. Other agencies out there hold websites and domain names hostage. You can't get them if you quit. And they do that for one reason. It's so they don't lose contracts and they don't lose business, but that's not the way to do business. I would want to do business with somebody that's going to help me. And if it's not working out, contract, why do I need a contract? That doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
That makes all the sense in the world. Really, really awesome. There's going to be a lot of small businesses that are going to watch this show that are going to want to reach out to you at Third Marble. I just have a great feeling about what you do, what your capacities are, what your background and experience is, and the fact that you're taking care of these smaller businesses like family. And I love that so much. It really makes all the sense in the world, Chris. For people wanting to reach out, how do they get a hold of you, Chris? Do they go to Third Marble Marketing? Where do they contact you to start talking and engaging with you?
Yeah, the easiest way is to go to thirdmarblemarketing.com. There's a button you can schedule an appointment with pretty much anyone on our team, including myself. So we're, like I said, we're an open book. and super easy to get in touch with us. So hopefully
That's awesome. That's awesome. Chris, you make everything easy. You make everything fast. You make everything simple. You give the straight shot. You're doing great work. Your case studies are amazing. You've got the expertise after so many years of experience, and it's easy to see why you've been able to build Third Marble into a top-rate company, helping small companies get online with their Google AdWords and SEO and a lot of other things too that we didn't even have time to talk about. But I want to tell you, thank you so much for cutting some time out today, Chris. This has been absolutely awesome. You're a great guest, and thank you so much for all you're doing for small businesses around the country.
Well, Andy, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.